And welcome inside DETV for another sports update. Nick Alessandrini, as always, alongside Jason McCall and Dennis Pritchard, our producer, back in the studio. Jason, how are we feeling back here on a Monday night? A very exciting day of football yesterday. We've got some stuff we're going to talk about tonight, including a good Monday night football game. One we can actually maybe get excited about here in prime time with the Chiefs and the Raiders. That should be a good one out of the AFC West. And then we have a very special guest tonight, Jason, as well. We're excited for this interview that we have on tap for tonight.
Yes, we are very excited for the interview. But to go back to your first question, it was a great day of football. I was able to attend one of those games.
Yes, you were. That's right.
Last night. But overall, it was a really solid day of football. You're starting to see separation of the contenders from the pretenders, although it's the first quarter of the season. But you're starting to see teams really kicking in the high gear and kind of find their groove, if you will. Some teams are surprised. We have a few of those. And some teams are surprised for other reasons. And some teams just being their usual selves. So a little mix of everything.
Yeah, it's been a mix of everything, as you mentioned, through 5 weeks. The only constant remaining the same is that the Eagles were the last undefeated team in the NFL, but they had to work for it yesterday out on the road. 4:25 kickoff in Glendale against the Cardinals. And Jason, Kyler Murray and company giving them all they could handle. This one almost maybe should have went into overtime. A missed field goal as time expiring. Not the best clock management from Kyler Murray and Cliff Kingsbury down the stretch. But once again, the Eagles, they go up early, able to hold on late. They win by 3, 20-17 on a missed field goal there late in the fourth quarter. What did you think of the Birds' performance yesterday after improving now to 5-0?
5-0 is 5-0, but if we're really being honest, the way the second half is played, it should be 4-1. But again, difference between a good team and a great team finds a way to win despite the circumstances, and that's what they did. And luckily, both teams had backup kickers in, and
that's right, actually.
Backup kicker shanked it for the Cardinals. And, of course, the late game blunder by Kyler Murray and the Cardinals coaching staff.
Yeah, some blunders all around there in Arizona, that's for sure. Matt Amendola, the kicker you're referring to, who missed that field goal, again, has been a part of, I believe, 2 or 3 teams already so far this year in the NFL. It can be a little bit difficult when you're jumping from city to city every week. I was with the Chiefs just a few weeks ago, but unable to get that game winner to go for Arizona. Not necessarily sure he'll be back with the Cardinals the rest of this week. We'll see how that goes on. But once again, the Eagles, 6 points in the second half. The Cardinals score 7. They are outscored again in half number 2, Jason. We ask you, it seemed like every week, is this something to worry about going forward? We've both said no, but it continues to happen. Are you starting to get a little bit worried now with the way they played in the second half of football games?
You beat me to the question. I was going to ask you that, actually.
And I would say a little bit more than I have been. They need to figure something out, because a lot of that has to go with the second half adjustments, coaching-wise. Are they making the necessary adjustments there? But they might not have to, because they're always going into the locker room with a lead. So interesting there. I'd be worried a little bit more than I was, but I'm not hitting the panic button or anything like that yet. What about you?
I'll say probably a little bit concerned right now, because there's a trend, and you're starting to see it more and more often, and especially going into the Dallas week this week.
Big week.
Big week. You know that they have a top 5 defense, and points are going to be at a premium in that game. I know we're jumping ahead, but I'm thinking about it as they play against better level of competition. Can they actually keep that up and actually win a game when they score like they're the highest scoring second quarter team in all of the NFL?
Yeah, in NFL history.
By far.
Yeah.
And then you lay goose eggs third and fourth quarters of all your games this year. So
can't have that happen.
Kind of had to turn it around. But I think it goes back to I think in the third quarter, I think running the ball more will probably help that a little bit, like getting them in manageable short downs, and then kind of build off the momentum and play action and scoring off of those. But right now, you're not seeing that in the second half.
Yeah, again, I would love to see, I don't have the stat in front of me. We usually have a lot here on the show, but I don't have the stat in front of me. Let me see how many second half touchdowns they have this entire season. I'm willing to bet it's not many. But as you mentioned, Eagles prime time this Sunday night against the Dallas Cowboys. We'll talk about that one more on Thursday. But again, that one's been circled for some time, but now, especially the way the Cowboys have been playing, that is going to be a great one Sunday night on NBC. Let's keep it rolling to London. 9:30 a.m. kickoff between the Giants and the Packers. Jason, you and Dennis were right on it. Brian Daboll.
Another game.
Again,
early morning game.
Fantastic. They go down early, though. They're 3-1 coming in. How about the NFC East? They are performing here early in 2022. They come back and get the win 17-2. They outscore the Packers in the second half. They win 27-22 with Daniel Jones at quarterback. How are the Giants doing it? 4-1 under Brian Daboll. Has to be the early favorite for head coach of the year. They take down Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. Tell you more about the Giants or more about the Packers after this one?
It tells you more about the Giants because the Packers are who I thought they were going to be. I thought they're going to be average at best, but because you have Aaron Rodgers, you always have a chance to win. So that's the deciding factor, but he doesn't really have much around him this season, and against better teams, you see that. And that's literally what happened yesterday in London, but that's, like I always say, London games are always the hardest games to kind of gauge because anything can happen, always expect the unexpected in a London NFL football game, and came back from, 17 down?
Yep.
And ended up beating them by 5. So it says more about the Giants and Saquon Barkley again. We're going to keep saying it. Saquon Barkley has it. Whatever it is, whatever he did not have over the past few years, other than health as well. I think it's health combined with confidence in his abilities. And he said he had stopped watching his own highlights for a while. He didn't know how to, psych himself over games, but he started watching himself again and saying, hey, no, I am that dude. And you're seeing that he really is that dude, and Daniel Jones just pretty much feeding off of him, and teams feeding off of him, and then you gotta give love to the Giants defense this season. You have to. Spectacular.
I believe one of the top 5 defenses against the pass. They put that on display against Green Bay on Sunday. And you mentioned Saquon Barkley, 11 carries for 70 yards and a touchdown. Also 3 catches for 36 yards. And that's after banging that shoulder up a little bit earlier in the game. Had a lot of people hesitant or a little worried that he would return. He was able to do so when he performed after that, scoring the game-winning touchdown down the right side of the end zone there to give the Giants the win. NFC East is looking pretty good. Eagles 5-0, Cowboys and Giants both at 4-1. Maybe the best division football here early in 2022. Let's jump to another game we highlighted on Thursday. We were both eager to see Kenny Pickett in his first NFL start, the first-round pick out of Pittsburgh, broke all of Dan Marino's passing records when he was a Pittsburgh Panther. It was his first taste of NFL starting action on a Sunday in a very hostile environment on the road at Buffalo, one of the largest favorites on the entire board in years, as the Bills were 14-point favorites at home against Pickett and the Steelers. And if you watch that one, it was all Buffalo early on. The Steelers were able to force them to a 3rd and long deep in their own territory, and from third and long on, it was all Buffalo. Gabe Davis, a 98-yard touchdown catch, and from there it was just, don't look back. It was a 38-3 win for the Buffalo Bills. It was just kind of like going through the motions. It was kind of like a little, a JV team versus a varsity team. But Pickett himself didn't look bad. The defense couldn't stop Buffalo. 34, put the ball in the air 52 times, 34 of 52, 330 yards, had the 1 interception. I thought he looked good. George Pickens looked a lot better with him at quarterback, but that's a tough place to go make your first NFL start on the road.
Very tough place to make your first start on the road against that seasoned team, veteran team on both offense and defense. And like you said, Josh Allen, 348 yards and 4 touchdowns in the first half of that game yesterday. They were clicking on all cylinders. There's nothing you can do to really stop the Bills right now. Offensively, they're probably not the top team, right? the top team offensively in the game. Although that was Detroit, they were leading the league in scoring, but
yeah,
we'll get to them in a minute. On paper, but I like what the Bills are doing still. Everybody's buying in. Gabe Davis, another great game. When you have a silent dig, you still have Gabe Davis to deal with. So they're scary.
Got weapons over there.
They're scary. On both sides of the ball, they're scary.
And again, the Bills, Josh Allen finished 424, 4 touchdowns. It was all Bills all day. We mentioned that if they can't run the ball, how are they going to do come playoff time? That's still to be determined. We'll see how they do. James Cook getting into the end zone there late in the ball game for Buffalo. We'll see again how they are going forward. They looked good yesterday. Let's jump now to the Chargers and the Browns. Another interesting coaching decision late in this one, Jason, that had everybody questioning Brandon Staley, but a big win for the Chargers. They do go on the road, get the win at Cleveland 30-28. Justin Herbert, 228 and a touchdown. But how about Austin Eckler again, really putting a chain of games together. 173 yards and a score for number 30 again yesterday. Back-to-back huge games for him on the ground and through the air. They get the win 30-28. But the big news in this one, Jason, was that 4th and 2 decision in their own territory late in the fourth quarter with a lead. 10 times out of 10, don't you punt that football away and make them beat you?
You punt that every time. I don't get it. Sometimes common sense isn't common. You don't go for that. You punt the ball. You play with the field. Some mistakes are avoidable, and that was one of them. You just don't do that. It just didn't make any logical sense. They make football sense, X's and O's sense, whatever you want to say sense-wise. It just didn't make it. So I don't understand the call.
Again, they are still able to hold on 30-28 to Delaware Blue Hens, getting a win there in that action to Sear Adderley back in the secondary. Troy Reeder back with the LA Chargers as well. So they improved to 3-2. And now we are going to take a quick break, and we come back, a special guest here in studio, and we will talk to him coming up next right here on DETV. And welcome back inside DETV Sports. Nick Alessandrini, Jason McCall, and now we have a very special guest in studio here with us on a Monday night. Esaias Guthrie, the former DB out of Del State, the former Middletown Cavalier. Again, first team All-MEAC selection, FCS freshman, Hero Sports All-American is in the house joining us tonight here. Esaias, really appreciate you coming in. I know you're a busy guy, so appreciate you taking the time to join us here tonight.
Never too busy for you guys. Appreciate you guys for having me, seriously.
Well, I appreciate it. Again, thanks for, bringing yourself in. We're excited to talk to you, to talk some football here. And just to get started, obviously you having been a member of the Middletown Cavalier football program here in the state of Delaware. They were able to bring home a state championship last year. Have you been keeping up with Middletown at all? How was your experience at Middletown, and how's everything been with the Cavaliers?
Yeah, I mean, I always keep up with Delaware football, Delaware sports in general. The Cavaliers, I'm forever grateful to them. I transferred there after my sophomore year, and they welcomed me in with open arms, so that's always somewhere I love to be, a place I love to be. I had great memories there, and so they're doing some great things as far as football-wise. After football, with guys going to different schools, offers and stuff, they got a new coach there, Brian Johnson, who does a lot of things for guys getting recruited, and I love what they're doing, and I'm always going to support them. So it's always fair.
You're making them look good as well, being an All-MEAC, first team selection, the FCS Hero Sports freshman All-American. So again, you're able to go to Del State as a wide receiver, right, initially when you got there. Just talk a little bit about the story on how you got to Del State, why you maybe chose Del State, and kind of the background there.
So I was recruited at the end of my senior year to go to Del State. I had a few different offers from a few different places, and so I had to make sure that one stood out bigger than the other. And so I gave a team a proposition, and I said, hey, look, I got a guy, one of my best friends from high school, Trey Griffin. I got a guy who allowed me to stay in his home and go to school and do these different things. Are you able to make something happen? Let's get him a scholarship, give me a scholarship. Let's do a 2-for-1 deal. And Delaware State said, let's do it. And I was able to bless him and still be able to follow my dreams. So it was really dope.
Wow, that's a great story.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that part of the story. So, I mean, you're obviously a stand-up guy in what you do, but on the football field, but also at Delaware State, during your time in Delaware State, what was what's been like your best memory so far? What stands out to you as far as both the academic and the athletic experience at Delaware State?
Going to college, right? Like you have your family, right? Like you have your family, and then you go to college and you build this other family, And so going to college and playing on the football team and forming this family that I've formed, that I talk to every day, whether I'm going to be at Delaware State or not, I think that's the biggest memory I have, and what I'm forever grateful for. Being able to forge a bond with guys, and something I'm going to have for a lifetime. So that's something I can never even put a price on, really.
Okay, so to follow that up, I would say not just Delaware State, but overall, how important rather is the HBCU experience to someone like yourself?
It's big. It's big. Going to HBCU is different. It's different. It's a different experience. The fan bases are different. The environment's different. The classroom's different. The campus is different. Everything's different about it. It's not something I'd say that is something that is hard yes or no for me right now with me transferring or anything like that, but it definitely is a factor at the end of the day.
Thank you.
And Esaias, I know you mentioned, maybe some things that stood out to you about Del State and stuff like that. Do you have maybe a play? Is there just one play maybe that you have in your head from your time so far in college that, maybe that just really stands out to you? Maybe your favorite play defensively here the last couple of years?
I guess it would have to be the play that really started it all for me. We're going against Howard, fourth quarter. It's about 2 minutes left to go. Tie ball game, or maybe it's like 10-7, something like that. I go from safety to corner. He drops back. Guy does a hitch. He's late to read. He's a second read. I jump it, take it to the house for 6, and that's where it all started for me.
Pick 6.
Yeah, pick 6.
See, the way you're able to decipher and talk about it, talk a little about the coverage and stuff like that and the routes, I'd love to see that football IQ out of you as well. I'm sure we'll be very lucky here in the future. But you mentioned, we talked a little bit about the switch from wide receiver to DB. Did you ever see that coming maybe in your future? Was that on your radar at all before you got to college? You ever maybe foresee yourself playing in the secondary?
Yeah, actually. So 2 of my offers in college was for wide receiver, and then 2 was for DB. So it wasn't something I was unfamiliar playing. I moved to DB my senior year of college, like the summer going into my senior year in college. Of high school, I'm sorry. And did a couple of camps and got noticed for my size and my ability, but I didn't have the film. And so a lot of people were neglected to offer. But then I went ahead and played well in high school, got like 6 interceptions or so, 1 for a touchdown, I think, 2 for a touchdown, I think. And so I made a name for myself pretty early, pretty quick. And so when the coaches at DSU, they were at the all-state dinner, and so they pulled up my film, and I was an all-state DB. And so they realized that, they watched the film, and so they were able to make the switch. And so I'm forever grateful for it. I loved it. I love the decision. I love defense. And so it was great to me. It was great.
Yeah, absolutely.
So being as though that you have great ball skills essentially as a DB, by you formerly playing wide receiver position, so what do you take away from your time at wide receiver that you actually use instinctively for yourself playing DB? Because it seems like you can just pretty much read and react to anything that's out there on the field.
Right.
So what do you take away from your time at wide receiver that you incorporate into your current position as a DB?
It's not so much as wide receiver, just understanding offense. Yeah. And understanding offense is big when you play defense. You know, at the end of the day, an offense has to start doing certain things a certain way, right? It's very meticulous, driving the ball down the field, right? And so when you understand this type of ball, this type of game, and you understand the type of things that have to happen, certain routes have to be ran with other certain routes. You can't run this and run that. You can't do this at certain times. Understanding down the distance, things like that. Everything like that, it allows you to play fast. It allows you to play really fast, read and react. And so my ability to understand that, I played offense, and so I know how this is supposed to be ran. I know how these routes are going to be ran. I know how it's going to look when he's about to do this. And then just further film after that, but right before the game, and knowing the player that I'm playing, it all helps out. It all helps out.
I feel as though it's kind of like a cheat code as you play both sides of the ball, because you know the route trees and where the people can go, but also as a defender, you're knowing those same route trees as you're trying to stop them as well. So it's kind of like you have the best of both worlds. You kind of decipher who's going where, what time, and then you have the upper hand as far as how you're going to react to whatever switch or whatever hitch or whatever the case may be as far as the offensive player coming at you. So I feel as though it's a cheat code. Anybody that switches over, it's just like a cheat code to me.
Yeah, definitely in a way. I definitely had the upper hand sometimes. But again, man, it's something I'm grateful for, to be able to play both sides. And just like when we was little kids, a lot of people played every position. You know what I mean? I was a kicker. You know what I mean? I played everything. And so, man, it's a lot of things that go on in football, and I'm grateful for it all, the whole process, the whole journey.
And Esaias, I had the luxury of being on the sideline for that game against Delaware, the Route 1 rivalry, and I noticed some things your teammates were wearing, some 6'3", stuff like that. Can you just go in and talk a little bit about that situation here? What was going on with your teammates there in that game?
6'3", love it. Those are my guys. Like I said, man, you're blessed to be with these guys at least 16 hours out of the day, you know what I mean? And so you build these relationships with guys. And so 6'3" was a thing where they understood the burden that was on my heart, the burden that was on my mind. And so when I did finally come to the decision to leave, they were fully supportive. They're supportive to this day. Like I said, I've been able to build this family, this college family that I have, and so I'm forever grateful. Forever grateful. And so 6'3" was just a saying like, yo, 6 is on the different things, bigger and better things. He's free. He's free from all the mental tug, the physical tug, the emotional tug that it had on me. And so, they just supported me fully, man. I appreciate them for that. Yeah,
that speaks a lot about you. Your guys are still going to stand by you, with that and represent you the way they did out on that field. I thought that was really cool, and really speaks to the relationship that you guys had with them. And another thing we had the chance to talk to you just a little bit about before we came here on the air was the My NIL thing you have been working on. You just want to talk a little bit about that? I know the website, everything's getting going.
Yeah, we're dropping
just
soon.
mention that a little bit, because that's a really cool thing you guys are doing.
Yeah, my NIL Deals University is a platform and site and teaching tool that I have created with the help of my family to kind of just help college athletes at any different level, just help them really navigate the NIL world. You know what I mean? It's a lot of things that are changing constantly, and being able to educate them on those things and educate them how to go about getting a deal, go about reaching out to people, go about securing the deal, closing it, and what to do after you close it, and how to just execute it, right? And so a lot of people don't know that, you know, you don't have to be someone with 100K followers and going to Alabama. You know what I mean? No, you can go to a small school and still get deals and still be productive and still make a name for yourself and help these brands out, essentially, no matter what brand it is, you know?
Yeah, that's a great thing, especially now. That is one of the most important things going on in the world of college sports, is the NIL. And aside, I mean, obviously you getting in there, you graduated in 2019 from high school. The NIL is such a big thing right now. And did you have maybe at all any experience, you know, before NIL as opposed to now, college athletics, or has NIL always been a thing since you got to college? Because I know a lot has changed, as you mentioned, over just the last few years that NIL has become so prevalent here.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's pretty new to me, but I have a great team around me, a mom who is a dog when it comes to business and securing things. So she's my manager, she's my agent, and she gets things done.
Right?
That's all I can say.
Like Lamar, yeah. Well, again, we really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us tonight. And we were talking a little bit before we went on the air. You know, do you have maybe, you know, a favorite team or somebody you follow? You mentioned you like to follow the Patriots, but is there any player? Again, you play wide receiver and DB. Is there any player that you modeled your game after? Maybe you looked up to, tried to pick up a few things from? Anybody that you watched closely growing up?
Jalen Ramsey, of course, is a guy. Xavier Howard is a guy I watched. J.C. Jackson is a guy, you know, he has the same nickname as me, Mr. Pick Six. So that guy can ball. He takes the ball out the air. Those are just to name a few guys that I like to pick up little things from. But I'm always watching. You know, I'm always watching different guys, no matter what the name is, whether it's big name or little name. College, all levels. I try to take a little thing from everybody. I was even working out with the DB from Middletown, number 2. I forget his name, but he was teaching me some things. You know what I'm saying? He's a dog. He was teaching me some things, and anytime I can learn, I'm all for it.
Yeah, that'll be great. Again, I'll be there this Friday night for Middletown Salesianum. So if you're in the area, you want to stop by and do a little halftime interview, come on the air. We'll talk to you there too.
All right, we'll do it.
But a lot going on at Middletown. We'll be there at Middletown.
There.
So there we go. There we go.
I didn't know that was happening. Now I know it's happening. Because you guys don't know, but well, you guys probably know, but me and Sally, we do not mix too well.
Oh, really?
They knocked us out my senior year.
Yeah, they did.
They knocked me out my senior year when we played them in the Beat the Beast game and blew them out by like 30 the same year. And so they came back in the playoffs and knocked us out. So we got some beef.
That's right. So you got some beef. We'll take care of it on Friday night at Middletown Cavaliers Stadium. And Esaias, so obviously you're a football player. People know that. But is there any other sports that you like to play a little bit? You play anything else growing up? Maybe, you know, when you're not on the football field, what are you doing? What are you getting into?
When I'm not on the football field, I have a son, so I'm with the family at all times when I'm not on the football field. But growing up, I played basketball. Basketball was actually my first love.
Oh, see, there you go. That's the kind of stuff you get.
I just had to realize, like, oh, all right, it's a lot of guys that are 6'1" who can play basketball. You're gonna have to pick, and so I realized I could play football very well at a high level. My IQ for football was higher, and so it was something I had to just let go. I still watch all the time. I got family who still play, so I'm always around.
Point guard, shooting guard, what was your
I was more so of a point guard. I'm more so the conductor, the same way I am on the field. So I conduct things.
Yeah, there you go, floor general, field general. There you have it right there. Oh, Esaias, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. Is there anything else that you'd like to share with everybody at home here? I know a lot coming up for you here in the next month or so, but just anything you'd like to share with all your fans and viewers? And
I mean, I appreciate you guys 1,000 times over. I'll be re-entering or entering the portal coming at the end of November. So just stay tuned for the things that progress I'm always watching football, so I'll be at some games. Just being at some games, I'm just a spectator. I'm not on no visits or anything like that.
Make sure you hear that clearly, everyone.
I'm just
He's
a
just
spectator.
visiting.
It's a spectator.
Just a spectator.
Just spectating.
I pay for the tickets the same way. I'm just a spectator. That's all.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for joining us here on a Monday night. We really appreciate it. Mr. Pick Six here live in studio today in Wilmington. A lot on the horizon for him here coming up in the next month or so. Make sure you show him some love and keep up with him. Big things coming up for Mr. Pick Six. Esaias, thanks so much, man.
Appreciate
really
you guys
appreciate it.
for
Thank you
having
so
me.
much. We appreciate it. We're going to take one more break here on DETV. When we come back, we'll wrap up the NFL slate from Week 5. Look ahead to a little Monday Night Football with the Chiefs and Raiders here tonight. We'll be right back on DETV. And welcome back inside DETV. And we actually are going to keep this special guest going the rest of the night. Nick Alessandrini, Jason McCall, Esaias Guthrie, you're going to stay with us through the commercial break because now we're going to talk a little NFL football as well. You know, we were talking off the air and, you know, we were talking a little bit about the National Football League. And he was like, hey, I could talk it up with you guys. And we were like, all right, let's do it. We are happy to have him back for the rest of the show tonight. And let's jump in with the Patriots since that's where we left off on there. They won 29-0. And Jason, Lions offense, which was rolling tops in the NFL coming into the contest, did not show up on the road. Amon-Ra St. Brown was back in action. No DeAndre Swift. Offensive line a little bit banged up, but they could get nothing going. Jared Goff really struggling in this one against Belichick on the road. 19 of 35, 229 yards, no touchdowns, and interception. Bailey Zappi getting his first NFL win as a starter, the 7th-round pick out of Western Kentucky. 17 of 21, threw a touchdown as well. Jason, Did you learn more about the Patriots or the Lions here? Patriots now up to 2-3. Lions 1-4. They seem to be in every game. This one was not one of them.
Man, this game was trash from the start. I'm just going to keep it honest with you. The Lions, they had so much hope and so much promise earlier in the season, but with injuries to Amon-Ra and to DeAndre and injuries on the offensive line, it's kind of hard to replicate it in the first few weeks. But I didn't expect a 29-0 game from New England because who do they have out there at this point? I mean, it's not your daddy's Patriots. So Tom Brady's walking through that door. Ty Law's walking through that door.
Yeah, Bailey Zappi,
none of those guys walking
round
through that
rookie.
door.
That's who's walking through the
Seventh
door.
round. J.C. Jackson's walking through that door. So I wasn't expecting that type of game yesterday. I really was not. I was surprised by that score.
I was again. I think again going in. Patriots were favored small there, but they might have needed Esaias in the secondary there in Detroit. 29-0. They couldn't stop anybody. They couldn't get anything going. When a team like that, you lose 29-0. What's kind of going on in the locker room? I don't know if you've ever been a part of a loss like that, but what's kind of the vibes behind the scenes when you take a 29-0 or a big loss like that?
I think the biggest thing in looking for is guys to bring that morale back up. Listen, we're still a good team. We're still a good team. They were better today, but we're still a good team, right? We're missing some guys in Amon-Ra and Swift, who I played against, and he's a dog. He's a dog.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about that. You just blush this
just
player
do it.
right
No, I played 7. We played 7-on-7 in football during the summers, and so he played for a Philly team, and I played for the Delaware team, and we always went at it.
Yeah,
we always went at it as a team. I was a little younger, but I mean, he was a dog. He was a dog. Still is. And so, like I said, man, a guy like that who can catch out of the backfield, who can see holes differently, who is very dynamic in the way he can score and see the field, man. When you're missing that on the field, it's hard. It's hard. And so, I mean, that's the biggest thing. Come in there and let's get ready for next week, right? Don't press it too much, right? Watch the film, learn from it, go to the next one.
Yeah, again, Lions, like you said, they were playing well coming into that one. Things did not go their way. Now, like you said, it's gut check time there in Detroit. Let's regroup. Let's get that morale back up, and let's get back at home next week and see if we can pull something out. Maybe or excuse me, they would bye next week, even better. They could regroup over the bye week. Swift, Amon-Ra get a little bit healthier as they keep going. You know who else is keep going? That's Gino Smith. Continues to light it up in
Clap
Seattle.
it up for Gino.
I mean, you got to clap it up for Gino.
Man. With Gino.
He couldn't pull out the victory. They were on the road at the Superdome. That's a tough place to play at the Saints in New Orleans. But Gino Smith, 16 of 25, 270, 3 touchdowns for Gino Smith. He's balling right now. Rashard Penny, unfortunately, looks like he's going to be out. Broken tibia. He's going to be out for the rest of the season. Tough break. He can't stay healthy. But when he can stay on the field, he produces. He's a great running back. But this year, once again, injuries getting the best of him. He's going to be out for the rest of the season. Jason.
I don't know what it is in the water in Seattle with their running backs. It's like their running backs I don't care
Carson
who it is.
had to retire.
It's something there where the running backs just can't stay healthy in Seattle. I don't know what it is. Yeah. I think the last really fully healthy Seattle running back was Sean Alexander.
Like 2007.
They were going to consistently healthy every year, year in, year out. It's been a problem for a while. Most of their running backs have a shelf life of 3 or 4 years max, and they draft somebody else to replace them and replace them and replace them.
That's a shelf life for the NFL
anyway,
player, period. So I mean, Gino.
Gino, listen.
That's what I say one more time,
Gino, man. I mean, I watched the game when he was going against the Broncos, and man, he looked good. I mean, he looked good. He's a guy who stayed ready. And, they always tell you stay ready, and so he stayed ready, and they put their trust in him, their belief in him, and he's showing them that this is the right move, this is the right call. I'm proud of him, for real.
Yeah, I saw some great plays out of him yesterday. Pressure coming in, stepping up in the pocket. He put some throws into double coverage that were right in the breadbasket. He looked like he did at West Virginia a little bit now. He's starting to look just the most comfortable I've seen him since he's been in the National Football League. Now to the running game, though, you lose Rashard Penny. Kenneth Walker, this is why they drafted him, right? This is why they brought him in. The 2 guys coming in that everybody was focusing on was Breece Hall, who we'll talk about in a little bit. He looks incredible for the Jets. And then the other big running back was Kenneth Walker here for Seattle. He's going to be getting some work now. The 2nd-round pick out of Michigan State, early 2nd round. He came in, had 8 carries for 88 yards and a touchdown when he got in yesterday after the injury to Penny. he's now going to be the guy that they're going to be leaning on going forward. A lot of talk about Seattle coming into the season was, hey, it's tank for a quarterback, top 5 quarterbacks, maybe in the draft could be the top 5 picks next year. Gino and company are, that's not on their radar right now. They continue to look good. They do lose to New Orleans in this one. The Saints, no Jameis Winston again this week, somehow finding a win behind Andy Dalton, 16-24, a $187 and a touchdown. So not a huge day for him, but Kamara was back yesterday after a really slow start to the season. 23 carries, over 100 yards, had 6 catches, 91 yards, didn't get into the end zone, but a big day for him in terms of receiving and rushing. But Taysom Hill 112 yards, 3 touchdowns. He took all those goal line carries away from Kamara. If you're a fantasy manager, not too happy about that. But Taysom Hill looked good at the quarterback at the goal line. Saints get a much-needed win here at home.
And I called it. I called it. I called it on Thursday that the Saints would win because they had to. That was a must-win game for the Saints, and they played like it. Jameis being hurt, everybody else had to step up. And Andy Dalton, let's not forget, Andy Dalton is a former Pro Bowler. He guided the Bengals to many playoff games in Cincinnati and was serviceable as well in Dallas in garbage time and injury time for Dak. But Andy Dalton is still a serviceable quarterback in the NFL. And Taysom Hill is a Swiss Army knife. He can pretty much play whatever position he wants to on the field. So I think his contract is like a quarterback hybrid tight end wide receiver.
And coming into
his
the
contract
season, there was a lot of backlash there, right? Because Sean Payton's
crazy.
gone. He was the guy that loved Taysom Hill. Now you got Jameis. Why are we even paying Taysom Hill all this money? Well, he got in the end zone 3 times this past weekend, so maybe they're going to use him more than we thought. Esaias, what have you seen from Taysom Hill when they use him in that role?
Man, look, Taysom Hill is a guy that I respect. I respect him because he came in as a quarterback, said, hey, I'll go to tight end. I'll do some things that aren't really conventional for a guy who's played quarterback. And he's being productive. He's being productive. He's a guy you can put on the field and trust, right, at any position. As far as what we're seeing, he's productive. And that's what you got to be in this league. So he's going to be in here a long time doing that. I can feel that.
39 points for New Orleans.
He's doing what Tebow should have done. Had Tebow bit the bullet and say
Taysom Hill's not throwing the ball at all. 0.
But again, if this is what actually I'm gonna take it back that far. This is what we expected Tebow to actually morph into, but he never brought it all the way in. So now you're seeing someone similar college tape, kind of things like that, and now you say, okay, you know what? I gotta stay on the field somehow, some way.
I think
so let me do
Tebow
this.
ahead of his time in 9-5 as an NFL starter. Tim Tebow. So we'll see. Maybe he was a little ahead of his time. Maybe he could be Taysom Hill right now if he came out of college right now.
Nah, he was too much. He was too worried about trying to hit home runs. In the minors.
That's right. He might still be playing.
Minors.
Dennis, can we get an info check on Tim Tebow, what he's up to right now? To the Jets, and Jason, you and Dennis called this one. The Jets putting up 40 at home at the Meadowlands as they take down, well, what was Skylar Thompson, another rookie quarterback. Obviously, Tua going down the week prior. Then this week, Teddy Bridgewater going down, concussion, I believe, like symptoms early in that ball game. So they lose their top 2 quarterbacks. It's rare that you get a team having to rely on your third-string quarterback. Some teams don't even activate 3 quarterbacks. Luckily, the Dolphins had theirs ready to go. It was the rookie Skylar Thompson. Didn't look horrible, but a 14-17 win, a big win for the Jets. Again, we talked about on Thursday, Jason, they had lost 12 consecutive division games in the AFC East. That is an insane statistic. We were like, can they stop it? Well, they finally did. They get the win here over the Dolphins. Breece Hall looked fantastic. Zach Wilson's getting a little bit more comfortable. The defense showed up like it usually does. Especially, over to the offense. The defense usually is the part that shows up for the New York Jets. Offense now starting to get a little bit with them. Are the Jets a team to worry about here now?
Yes. Like I said last week, with a healthy Zach Wilson, they are a team to worry about because they have the pieces on both sides of the ball. And you have to respect what Coach Salah is doing there and changing the culture and getting to buy into his philosophies, but also they've taken on his personality on the field.
Right.
And you can see that. And they're playing inspired football, and they actually have talent at skill positions again. A lot of times in the NFL, it's not about really X and O's all the time. It's also about you actually have to have talent at skill positions. And they actually have that, and they're deep at those positions now. So you're seeing them pull it fully together, and you're seeing upper management get out the coach's way.
Right.
And let them play their game. And a lot of teams don't do that. So you're seeing that in New York, and that's why they're winning games right now.
Right, definitely. I mean, confidence is something that's hard to come by, for a team in the New York Jets who has the history that it has with these past years, I'd say few years. But they got some young guys who are ready to play football, and they're playing confident, and they're playing like winners, and they're not going out there and laying down. So big win, definitely for them. But I think the Dolphins also showed a lot in that third-string quarterback. Look, yeah, they lost, but that was 14-17, right? And this is our third-string quarterback. So let's work a little bit on him this upcoming week. Come back next week and play a football game.
And again, like you said, so rare to have a team have to rely on your third-string quarterback, in game with no preparation the entire week before, just gets to throw out there. So again, we'll see again. Will it be Teddy? Will he be back next week? We don't know. Probably
I don't think
Skylar
so.
Thompson. And again, with the new concussion protocols that have just been announced,
especially in Miami, it's not happening.
That's the thing.
They're going hard in Miami. Miami's not having it this week. Teddy's he's out. I don't care. Every concussion test, he's gone. They're not bringing him back.
They're not bringing him back.
No doubt.
There's no way.
We're not firing another doctor, Teddy.
No,
We're not firing another doctor,
somebody,
Teddy.
Come on.
You got to sit. I don't know.
Oh, man, you're 100% right. Jason, any closing words there?
I would just say, what is going on in Miami? What is going on? What is going on? It seems like they're just snake bitten right now. and it's sad
such a
to
hot
see.
start, too. One of the hottest teams
It's so
in the NFL.
promising. And like, when you have Tyreek Hill, Waddle, Mostert, Edmonds, Zicky, they have guys. Then you have Pro Bowlers on the defensive side of the ball. I think they're still okay, honestly. I think they went from a division winner to probably a wild card team.
I think they get in the playoffs. So that's
I think
they will.
I think they're like the last wild card.
Are they a better team than the Jets going forward in the AFC East? Obviously, you have the Bills. Could be your favorite in the AFC East. Are the Jets too?
It's still hard to tell with
Jets
the
or
Jets being
Dolphins?
too.
Who are you guys going with the rest of the year? If you had to pick one, who finishes with a better record, Dolphins or Jets? Who finishes higher in the division, Jason? I'll start with you.
You know what? You can actually, at this point right now, with injuries to Miami, you can do a coin flip with these two teams. But I'm going to stick with Miami as far as having a better record.
I don't think so.
Jets?
I like Jets.
Jets?
I like the Jets. I like Sauce Gardner. I like the coach there.
He looks good, man. What a
I like
game
what
it was
they're
for
doing.
him on Sunday.
Look, listen, man. When they start getting going and then we start to make it a hostile environment to play at home, that's hard to do in New York.
And again, the health of the two quarterbacks in Miami, that's what I'm kind of waiting to see. Because like Esaias said, the concussion thing, it's now been taken up a step. They're, really trying to look out for these guys. They took some tough hits. Tua was not in great shape. And again, Tua throughout his career, not necessarily it being on the offensive line, he's just a quarterback that just takes hits like that sometimes. He sits back in the pocket and he's something, holds on to the ball a little bit. He'll get rid of it, but he takes some hits. I'm not necessarily sure he's going to be a guy that can, I can say 100% is going to be healthy the rest of the year. And I was a big Mike McDaniel, loved the run game that he was bringing over from San Fran. I was all the Dolphins preseason. I like what I'm seeing out of Wilson and the Jets. I'll go Jets right now too, but it's like you said, it's a toss-up for me right here. Dennis, what about you? What are you thinking?
Jets.
Dennis going with the Jets.
Wow, is there a Jets chanting here right now? What is going on here?
What is going on? Sauce Gardner pick 6 yesterday. Following in your footsteps right there. Come on now. Sauce Gardner really starting to show up here. He looked great yesterday. Let's jump to the Falcons and Bucks. This was the roughing the passer call heard around the world yesterday. The Falcons making a big comeback there, trailing 21-0 in that game at home. Or on the road to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They were able to stop them with a chance to get the ball back and score and potentially win the game. 3rd and 5, Brady gets sacked by Grady Jarrett. Looked like a regular sack. They said it was excessive force, personal foul, game over. Everybody's been talking about this all day, no matter what sports channel you turned on. Jason, I'll just start with this question for you. Does Tom Brady get too many calls? That one was one of them. I'm not even going to ask you if it was a good or bad call, because it was a bad one. We all know it already. But does Tom Brady get those more so than other guys?
This was a typical Brady call. There's no way to get around it. Grady Jarrett actually tried to. Brady landed on top of Jarrett, and Jarrett tried to just ease him to the ground. It wasn't like he just slammed him or thrown him, but he bounced off of Jarrett and then hit the ground, and that's what they called the penalty off of. But it was a legal, safe tackle, and it changed the entire game. The Falcons had momentum. They had just scored 15 in a row on them, unanswered in the fourth quarter. Bucks were driving, stalling out on offense, and that would have sealed the game. So they were able to give the ball, keep the ball, and essentially run the clock out. And it was a horrible call. It was a horrible call. But again, like I said, the same referee crew that made this call made the same bogus roughing the passer call on the Ravens with Josh Allen the week before. So referee Boger, he has a hit. Now he has 2 games in a row where his history, you're making questionable roughing the passer calls, and people start to see that. So I understand protecting the quarterback. I understand it's pretty much post-Tua right now, so everybody's really, kind of crazy about taking quarterback. But that's still not that hit. That's not that hit. That's not that hit.
I agree with you 100%. What do you think?
I agree. It's not that hit, but it is Tom Brady, right? It is Tom Brady at the end of the day. Tom Brady is the equivalent to LeBron James. LeBron James is going to get some calls that he probably shouldn't get, right? It's understood at a certain degree, right? The same way your mom got her favorite kid, the referees and the leagues got their favorite kid, right? And so Tom Brady is the protected old guy, and he's going to get that. So, I mean, it is what it is. Like, it was a horrible call, but it's understood. It's understood across the league.
And they asked him after the game, and he said, "Hey, I don't throw the flags." All right, so
he understands. He knows.
He knows.
I don't throw the flags.
Right. Like I said, it's been some tough for him in the back. He's got some tough stuff going on in his life right now. All right, he's got to focus on the football, and hopefully he'll be able to play well. He's been playing well as of late. They got Chris Godwin, Middletown Cavalier. That's who I chose to play against back when I was in high school as well. So we and some other guys there for the Bucs coming back. Mike Evans looked good ever since he had that 1-game suspension with the interaction with Marshawn Lattimore.
Protecting Brady.
Exactly. Yeah, there we go.
Brady.
He's the key
Brady,
thing that we've been talking about. He's the key heart of the conversation there. 351 yards for him. He has been a Falcon killer in his career. We talked about on Thursday, 10-0 against the Falcons coming in. Now 11-0, one of the best records from any quarterback against any team in NFL history. So the Bucs get the win at home. Rather it be 21-15, but they get it, and they'll improve now to 3-2. And again, Tom Brady, as you guys know, doesn't really like to get too worried about everything until the end of the season. Just trying to put it together here early and get to the postseason. The Titans, after suffering 2 straight losses to begin their year, they weren't looking good after 2 games. Jason, we were talking about them after the loss to the Giants, 21-20. Maybe this isn't their year. They've won 3 in a row. Testament to Mike Vrabel and company out there in Nashville. They get a win again this week, 21-17 over Carson Wentz and the Commanders. And Jason, if I told you right now it was going to come down to a goal line opportunity for Carson Wentz on offense to win the game, what would you have thought?
Maybe on Madden, not in real life. I would
thought turnover. I would have said turnover.
Not in
if
real life.
I had to pick anything, I would have said there's a turnover coming.
Don't do it. Not in real life. No. But the problem with Carson Wentz is this: he's either bang or bust. He'll give you some touchdowns. He'll give you 300 yards. He'll give you 3 touchdowns, but he'll also give you 3 interceptions, and that's what rears ugly head. On Sunday.
It's the clutch time performance.
Yeah,
Whenever you
really
need a big play out of him, he goes the opposite way. You can go back to week 17 of last year. They need to beat the Jags, go for a drive. He fumbles and they lose it. This year, as in this game here, time running down, you're down 21-17. You got to score a touchdown, 1st and goal from the 3-yard line. He gets 3 opportunities. Can't convert, ends up throwing an interception at the goal line. What do you see? Are you Carson Wentz guy? What do you see from Carson Wentz?
That's right. Look, man,
join the desk. Join the desk. Yeah, welcome
the NFL,
to the desk.
just like college, man, it's an NFL. It's a quarterback's league, just like Coach Rivera said. And so I like to use this term as Carson Wentz isn't going to, in his play, in his overall play, he's not going to go out there and lose you a game.
He's not.
But he's not going to go out there and win you a game either. You know what I mean? He's not going to go out there and win you a game. He's not going to lose you a game, but he's not going to go out there and win you a game. So they should be looking to make a switch there pretty soon. I would. And
again, they have the rookie out of North Carolina, Sam Howell, who before the season was projected top 10 pick.
Come on.
Didn't have the year that maybe everybody thought necessarily he would have. He falls, deep in the draft. They got him in late day 3, I want to say.
Day 3, yeah.
Did they get Sam Howell? He looked decent in the preseason. But Carson Wentz was supposed to be the answer when they traded for him. Again, we all know how everybody at home how we feel about Carson Wentz, and he might not be maybe the best guy there to lead the way the rest of the way for the Commanders. But again, they started off the season with that victory at home over Jacksonville. They have now gone winless in the next 4. So a tough stretch here for the Commanders.
Let's stay there for a second with the Commanders. The final thoughts in that game. Clap it up for Brian Robinson getting back on the field.
Yeah, that's big time. Yeah,
Many men.
He came out to many men, which is like the ultimate.
That was dope.
That was the best instance I've seen.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That
from
was
him being
dope.
shot to come back on the field to that song.
Listen,
that many men. That was awesome scene to see yesterday.
Dope. That was dope.
And again, I got to pay attention to him going
Listen,
forward,
man, if that guy was in the NBA, we wouldn't have seen him for the whole year.
Yeah.
We got guys taking rest just because their ankle is a little.
That's
that
true.
guy got shot twice.
Twice.
He was back.
Oh, man.
Miraculously
Good for him.
Such a
covered,
terrible
yeah.
situation, yeah. But thank goodness he's able to get. I mean, unbelievable recovery, unbelievable determination.
And he's going to get more touches as the season goes
Oh,
along.
absolutely.
yeah,
He's
most
going to be there. I think he's going to be, he's going to get the bulk of the work, I think, going forward. Gibson maybe use him in the pass game.
Yeah.
I think they're going to give him
I
the
do
bulk of the
too.
work. We'll keep an eye on Washington. You check out the schedule here for them. Again, it's been tough as of recently. Let's see where they're heading next week. How did I forget this one, guys? Thursday Night Football. I knew there was a horrible game.
Oh, we have a trash game again on Thursday?
I knew there was a horrible game.
Is there another
coming.
trash game on Thursday?
There
Another
is.
one?
We've got
Another
the Bears
You know what it
and the
is?
Commanders.
You know why it's trash, and it's not even like, man. I go into places, and I'm going into Green Turtle on Thursday expecting for a game to come on, and I'm realizing it's on Amazon Prime. Guys, what are we doing? What are we doing giving them that Thursday? Bars aren't getting Prime. Green Turtle's not getting Prime. I can't watch the game.
Wait a minute. So you're telling me that, again, I haven't. I've been watching these in the luxury of my own home.
Right.
But if I were to go out, you're telling me you can't watch it.
No.
The bars don't have it at all?
They don't, because they don't have Prime. They don't have Amazon
I figured
Prime.
they
You
would try to
cannot
figure
get it.
something
I told you this was week one when they had the first Thursday night game.
I figured by now they would have figured out a solution.
It doesn't make sense to have games on Prime.
Hey, they paid a boatload. I agree with you. Because then you can't switch. And this was, again, off topic here, guys. We apologize. But we were talking about this last week, Jason. You said one of the things that you didn't like was you can't switch channels during commercials right there. You got to stay there the whole time.
Yeah, then you got to go back into the app if you want to switch back to the game. Like,
It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite way of watching.
So let me ask you, what do you think about the Al Michaels, Kirk Herbstreit combo?
What was that?
Al Michaels,
Al Michaels, Kirk Herbstreit called the games.
Again, what do you
on
think
Amazon.
about that?
So,
It's a different combination of guys.
Listen, man.
They paying them a ton of money for this Amazon Prime thing this year, so we'll see how it plays out. But going forward,
but this game though,
but I'm with you. It's
I'm not
tough
a fan.
to see.
Who do they play?
It is the Commanders at the Chicago Bears here.
I'm not. No. I'll do something. I'll do homework. I'll check out the games. I don't know. I won't be watching them. I'm not going to.
This is the first game we're all going to unanimously agree that we are. I don't know if I've ever done that before. We might not watch this on Thursday night. We have a show. We do a pregame leading up to it.
It might be on the TV.
yeah,
I'm not
some
saying
background noise.
It might be on the TV.
That's what happens on while you do it.
Yeah,
That's right. You can look up and see a Carson Wentz interception every now and then.
I mean, because the thing you worry about with this game is, well, Carson Wentz has more interceptions than Fields has passing attempts at this point.
You know what? Thank goodness they're letting him throw 15 times now, at least a game. Again, I'm not sure if you kept up with this. Through 3 games, he had 22 pass attempts. Justin Fields.
Three
games.
They weren't going to let him throw. People throw for Josh Allen throws for that in the first quarter of every game. He throws the ball 22 times. So we'll see what happens. The Bears, they looked a lot better against the Vikings.
He
now
might
that we're
have to make a
talking about it.
switch.
They looked better against the Vikings this week. But again, still not an offense that you want any investment in or part of or having to root for. I will say that going forward. Let's talk about now the AFC South. Not too much more positive there on that note. The Jaguars lose to the Texans. Jaguars at home, 13-6. That's right. Davis Mills delivering for Houston on the road. Doug Peterson and company go down. Jaguars back-to-back losses.
I like that.
Now, Trevor Lawrence, 5 turnovers last week, 2 turnovers, 2 picks for him this week. So 7 turnovers in 2 weeks for Trevor Lawrence. And Dameon Pierce looking good. The rookie out of Florida, the running back, he had over 100 yards and a touchdown. But the Texans get their first win of the year, and they get it on the road in Jacksonville. What do you guys think about that one?
They get off the schneid. I mean, it's the AFC South. I mean, what do you expect when you have people winning games 12-9 and then you have this game yesterday?
13-6 here. There you go.
So it's the AFC South, man. That probably is the worst division in football this year. It's been some horrible football to watch in that division. Like, I know they're professionals. I give them all the respect and credit in the world, but that division has been
It's got to be the South. How about the NFC South? You got the Bucks, and congratulations, Dennis. Bucks are looking better. But you got the Panthers, the Falcons, and the Saints. And the Saints
Panthers
without
just made a
Jameis
change.
and company.
Yeah,
That's right.
Their coach.
We led with that at the beginning of the show, didn't we?
yeah.
I was going to say, how did we forget that? That's like the
Let's talk about it. Let's talk
Matt
about it.
Rule, again, fired, I believe, 11 and 27 in his 3 seasons so far with the Carolina Panthers. You know, they had a very mutual parting today. He met with the players.
They say
it's always mutual when the team tells you.
You guys have a good one. Good luck. But again, if you were to look, and if I can find the tweet, I will. But the starting quarterbacks that Matt Rule had in his tenure for those 3 years were just absolutely, I don't want to say dreadful because that's a strong word, but they were
It was close enough.
They were bad.
You want to be honest? Yeah. I'm a fan of Matt Rule.
You
know why though? Because when he was at Temple, he was a good dude at Temple. And he went into the league and he started drafting those Temple guys, man. And he started giving them shots, man. And so I'm all for that. I'm all for that. Now, as far as the NFL goes, it's totally different.
Some coaches just aren't NFL coaches.
No, and
that's what it is.
Somebody said it, right? And the people are wondering, like, why is Nick Saban still in? I don't think Nick Saban is a NFL coach.
Well, he was, and he quit on the Dolphins in 2007. He walked away.
I wonder. I mean, exactly.
He's a college coach, man.
Coach.
Some people are high school coaches. Some people are college coaches. Some people are NFL coaches. And guess what? I don't see too many. I'm in the college world, college football world, so I don't see too many coaches getting fired mid-season because then they got to pay them out and all that. But they let them go. They let them go.
Yeah, but Matt Rule.
And they owe him a lot. I think upwards of $40 million.
Yeah, he signed a 7-year deal. Yeah, it's $40 million.
7-year deal. I think they owe him $41 million that they'll be
for
paying
that
him. Yeah, good for him.
Right.
Like when they told Ed Orgeron, when they said they were going to give him whatever his
When
payout.
do I have to
exactly.
leave?
He was like, where do you want me to go?
What
door do you want me to go out? Yeah.
People don't know that in college, man. Those payouts, they're sometimes more than you was gonna make
Anyway.
So it's like, all right, fire me.
That, right?
I'm out.
Yeah,
what door am I leaving at?
exactly.
And where's the check?
Yeah, I'll take my $50 million. I'll see you guys.
Please,
Give it for free. I don't have to do any work either. Fine.
So
I'm
Matt
not-
Rule
have to
went.
coach.
So he went from Temple to Baylor to the Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think he ends up next? I'm going to ask you that for a question first.
I think he ends up back in college. Matt Rule is a good college coach. He's a good college coach. He's a guy who loves his guys, and his guys love him. Just knowing some Temple guys off the bat. And so, I think he ends up back in college, and I don't think that's bad for him at all.
I think he'll get a good deal there, and then I can just add the $40 million that the Panthers owed him. That's just free money for him. I think he'll get a good deal. And again, Oklahoma, this is just a school to look out for. I hear there are a lot of people that are interested in him anyway. But Oklahoma, horrible start for them this year. Brett Venables' first year as he left Clemson to go over to Oklahoma. They got beat 49-0 on Saturday in the Red River rivalry to Texas. I think that job might be open soon. You know, jobs like Oklahoma.
At the one season? It's going to be open at the one season?
When you lose 49-0 in your rivalry game against Texas, and Texas isn't exactly, a world beater right now.
But it's still.
You're right. You got to give them more than 1 year to get your recruits excited.
Oh, no,
I get that,
definitely.
no doubt. But these colleges, they're having a quick trigger nowadays, so you got to keep it.
They're not playing that. They're not playing that.
They're not. And
Not
we'll
even
see.
a little
I
bit.
guarantee you. I think he's going to be at a top. One of the, a school that maybe isn't the top right now, but has been or something like that.
Yeah,
will
has a
give
good
him
history.
Exactly. So
I
I think
agree.
there. But Matt Rule starting quarterbacks during his 38 games at Carolina. Teddy Bridgewater, the ghost of Cam Newton,
Teddy Bridgewater.
Sam Darnold, P.J. Walker, and Baker Mayfield. Those are the 5 quarterbacks
I was a fan
that
of
he
PJ.
has in
I
his
like PJ Walker.
starters. So that's tough to win games like that in the NFL when you don't have a quarterback. That's above
Like
average.
he said, it's a quarterback's league.
Yep.
He doesn't have a quarterback. You're going to lose games.
Until you do right by Cam Newton.
Hey, Cam in his prime, man.
Cam was that
He
guy.
was. So again, Delaware, off topic, Delaware playing at William & Mary in the CAA this past weekend. Cam Newton in the student section at William & Mary.
Yeah.
His brother,
I think he was at the game when, well, I don't know if he was at the game. Let me not say that because he was still in the league. But I played against his brother, Kalen.
I was at that game.
Howard.
Yeah, I was at that game.
And that guy, when I tell you, he is probably the most bow-legged person I've ever seen. If we can pull up.
It's crazy.
Dennis, we have
I
that
mean,
capability.
It's crazy, yeah.
And he's had surgery because I played him in 7-on-7 and we talked and he had surgery I don't know, man. But I'm gonna tell you this though, he's a hard guy to get on the ground.
Yeah.
He's a hard guy to get on the ground. He's a good football player. Good win for William & Mary, man, because UD is a tough team.
Yeah.
UD is a good and tough team. I think UD's still going to win the CAA, though.
I'm hoping I'm right there with you. Go Hens. 49ers and the Panthers. We'll just touch on this one quickly, and this was led to the firing of Matt Rule. 37-15 win for Jimmy Garoppolo and the Niners. Debo gets in the end zone. Jeff Wilson looked like he looked really good yesterday. It looked like he was healthy. Maybe 5 years ago, Jeff Wilson, 17 carries, 120 yards, and a touchdown for Jeff Wilson. Ayuk, Kittle, they all had pretty good games for San Francisco. Not really a lot to touch on here, though, besides the fact Baker Mayfield, high ankle sprain. He's going to be out probably for the next couple of weeks. P.J. Walker going to be the starter going forward for
Another
Carolina.
Temple guy.
McCaffrey looked a lot better in this one, but Niners defense seems to be one of the best units.
I heard the Bills have called and asked for Christian McCaffrey. Now, I don't know where that's going to go, but if that happens, I'm with the Bills.
Breaking news on DETV Sports.
I'm with the Buffalo
Another question is, what do you have to give up for a guy like Christian McCaffrey? It's going to be a first-round pick at least, right? You would imagine. Two, right? Multiple.
I would say 2 and an active player right now. You have to
give him Singletary or Zach Moss, whatever. Let him choose.
You might ask somebody on defense for him.
Yeah, no, definitely on defense.
Yeah, I mean, it's just interesting. You said they made the 5-Matt Rule gets fired, and now you could see a fire sale in Carolina. A lot of teams contacting him. They're trying to talk again. Nothing right now on McCaffrey, but one of the names to look out for going forward.
And if you need wide receiver help, you might want to call Robbie Anderson right now, too.
He's one of the guys being mentioned.
You might want to call for Robbie Anderson right now. If you want some new wide receiver, you might want to call for Robbie.
So we'll see what happens. They fall to 1-4. Again, the NFC South not looking fantastic here early in 2022. Cowboys and the Rams. How about this one? Cowboys on the road. Somehow Cooper Rush continues to find a way to win. Undefeated as a starter. 6-0.
I like him.
6-0 for Cooper Rush. Esaias, I'll start with you here. Is there a quarterback controversy in Dallas going forward, as Jerry Jones predicted weeks ago? He said he wanted there to be one. Cooper Rush undefeated. Is there any quarterback controversy, even a thought that you don't bring Dak back here in the foreseeable future next couple of weeks?
I don't know. And like I said, man, Dak's not crazy to me. I don't think he's a guy that all right, let's get him on the field as fast as possible, especially right now with the way Cooper Rush has been playing. But I think it'll also make him be a better football player. A lot of guys, when they get that spot, they hold on to it for so long that they get complacent. Having a guy who can actually compete for a spot may be good for them right now, or whenever he comes back. And so, I think it will be a big fight for that spot.
They look good right now, Jason. They're riding high.
I'll say this. Jerry Jones is having deja vu to the 91 season.
Oh, 91, go back that far.
So we're going to go back that
far. Not even
far.
Tony Romo Dak.
Nah, I'm going to go bigger than that. It's bigger than that. This is
Were you guys alive?
I was. I was. So this is, I was saying going back, this is Steve Berline replaces an injured Troy Aikman in 91. They make it all the way through the season, make the playoffs. They had to make a decision between starting Berline or Aikman at the playoff game 91 against the Bears. The Cowboys went with Berline over Aikman, ended up losing that game, but they went to win those Super Bowls back-to-back 1993 afterwards. So this is shaping up to be something like that. But as far as watching football and just watching the game in general and seeing how teams can ride momentum and the hot hand, I think you have to ride the hot hand until the hand comes off. So
no, definitely.
You don't rush Dak back knowing his injury history either way, but also with them, the momentum right now with Cooper Rush, because like you said, with Cooper Rush, the ball's being spread around. He's not targeting just one player, and that's the difference in his team right now.
Yep.
The ball's being spread around.
Everybody's eating.
Dak normally has his eyes on Schultz and Lamb, and that's it. And maybe hand the ball off to Zeke, but the ball's going everywhere right now, and the defense is flying all the field, playing free.
Right,
I mean,
just
to win a game in the way that they did it, right? Lamb, I think, didn't play too well. I don't think he had that many yards. Jalen was pretty good on him, and to go out there and win without having to go to your number one receiver too much. Defense played great. Cooper Rush, man, he's playing good football.
Yeah, again, 22-10. Micah Parsons looked like he's it too, man. He is just getting to the quarterback. I mean, it is one of maybe the toughest guy to block here in the NFL defensively. Aaron Donald, T.J. Watt's injured, and Micah Parsons is household name now here going forward. He's one of the best pass rushers in the league.
Yeah, he's awesome. There's nothing to say about him, but he's awesome. He changes the question of the game, and then you have Trayvon Diggs on the back end. It kind of makes it easy.
No, definitely.
We're going to ask you about Trayvon Diggs. Being a DB yourself, what do you think about? Are you a fan? Not a fan? What have you seen?
I'm a fan of Diggs' ball skills. Yeah. Not so much of his cover skills. He does get beat a lot.
He does.
He does get beat a lot, right? But so then you look at it, it's like he may give up a lot of yards, but then all right, he gets you the ball back. But then it's like, all right, like what do we?
Give and take,
It's give and take, but it's like, how much are we giving and how much are we taking?
Exactly.
Another former wide receiver.
If it ever cancels out, then we don't want it. You know what I'm saying? We want to be 1-0, right? So we want to be 51% to
49%, right?
To take. All right, so if I'm giving a little bit, I want 59% when I take mine back.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. There you go. Mind of a DB right here on DETV. 2 more games to get to, guys. One of them being the Ravens and the Bengals. Ravens get to win 19-17 last night. Jason, you were there for that one. How was that environment? Lamar there back at home.
Back in black.
Back in black, that's right. Wearing the black unis.
Right here. Back in black. That's what we do. We are, what, 18-2?
19-2
19-2 in prime time wearing black.
Yeah.
Let's wear them all the time. But the atmosphere was
unbelievable. Yeah.
The atmosphere was electric. Nelly performed halftime show there.
Wow.
He brought Ray Lewis out the crowd.
dope.
So Ray Lewis came on the field and
That's
got
dope.
the crowd hype, and he sat in the press box the rest of the game, and it was great atmosphere. Lamar actually had some throws that were kind of like, whoa, you missed some guys in the third quarter, but then
Guys you can't miss.
when you have the GOAT in your back pocket, in the golden foot, Justin Tucker, that's what won the game. And Cincinnati made some questionable calls on fourth down, especially with the 4th and goal call to go for it instead of kicking the field goal and take the points. And Ravens capitalized, but shout out to Marcus Peters because he gets burnt a lot too. He's a boomer bust as well. So
He played a little better yesterday.
he played a little better. So shout out to Marcus Peters for actually stopping people and tackling. Because Marcus Peters, his problem is he can intercept the ball, but he has so poor form tackling at times. You're like, dude, just wrap up and hit him. Like, just wrap him up.
Yeah.
But yesterday, he stopped the play on 4th down, and he had an interception, a couple of other things. He pretty much was the player of the game yesterday. Between him and Money Mark Andrews. Money Mark Andrews.
Good too. Yeah, that defense, it's hard to shut down Burrow, Chase, Higgins. They get banged up in that game. Tyler Boyd mix, and they got a heck of an offense over there. Ravens defense, though, able to hold them to 17 points.
Yeah, great defense. But I tell you what, Baltimore Ravens, you guys made a big mistake by not paying that guy his money when you should have.
Tell him.
Because he is going to up that price.
Oh,
Price just went up.
It's going up. It's going
yesterday's
way
price.
up.
Yesterday's price is not today's price.
It's going up.
It's going up.
It's going up.
It's
And
going
y'all made a mistake, but it's all right. Just make sure that check is clear with the signature. Just let him write his number at this point. Because y'all messed up.
They were carrying the blank checks at the stadium yesterday.
Yes, they were. Yes, they were. Yes, listen.
I'm with you. Sign whatever number you want on there.
His mom going to add a few more zeros to that request.
His mom is dogging him.
Put that slip in there. Go ahead, read that.
Hey, to be a two-time MVP here at the end of the season, I know him and Jalen Hurts.
I think it's
right now.
honestly, I'm gonna say this. I
Josh
love
Allen.
Lamar and I love the Ravens, but I think the MVP race right now, to this point, I think it's Jalen's to lose. Honestly, right now.
Again,
only
through
early,
5 weeks, but early front runner,
but through 5
Jalen
weeks, I
Hurts.
think he's a front runner right now. Eagles are undefeated. When you have an undefeated team,
No, he's definitely a front
and
runner.
Jalen Hurts is the reason why they're winning these games as well. Like he's actually scoring in the fourth quarter. Scoring, when it matters most.
Yep.
Diving in the end zone, goal line stands, and throwing the ball all over the field. Lamar's they're probably in top 3, but I would say Hurts is the front runner right now.
I'm loving the Eagles. I'm loving the Eagles. Loving.
Yeah, I'm sure you
And
love
it's been a
that
while.
secondary, right? That defense on the
Oh,
back
no, most
end.
definitely. They're playing
Got some
football.
good guys
Look,
back
man, me and Slay worked out over the summer.
Okay.
Good dude who goes into Jersey
Big
all
play.
the time and just works out with the locals. So, I mean, I love their defense. I love their offense. I love the way they're playing football. They're winning games. And so I hope they win it. I want them to win the Super Bowl. And I'm a Patriots fan, but I can't go to Massachusetts for the parade. So if they win in Philly, I'm in Philly the night after. You know what I mean?
Hey, we are all right there with you. We're hoping the Eagles are right there, so maybe a little Eagles-Ravens Super Bowl.
I
for
kind
Jason.
of called that before we get into the season. So.
There you go. That's
That'd be
right.
dope.
Jason did have the Eagles out of the NFC
I had the
in
Eagles
our
out of the NFC.
preseason
That's
show.
dope. That's
From
dope.
day
So
one,
let's jump now, guys, to tonight's matchup, 8:15. Less than an hour away. We are going to have the Chiefs and the Raiders on ESPN. The Chiefs favorites at home here. The Raiders getting their first win of the season last week to improve to 1-3. 0-3, the last team without a win a few weeks ago. They're starting to seem to find a little bit of a rhythm. The Chiefs, though, they've looked really good. They're spreading that ball around. 3-1 on the year. Won some tough contests, including that win over the Bucs last week. What are you looking for tonight, guys, in the Raiders-Chiefs game? Jason, we'll start with you.
I'm looking, will the real Devontae Adams and Derek Carr please end up this week? I need to see them clicking. Also, where's Darren Waller? We haven't seen him, haven't heard his name.
He's on a milk,
We haven't heard his name
on a
all
milk
season.
carton. I haven't seen him in a
He's on the Cloverland or Dairy Milk something somewhere. He's in the carton. But I would say I'm looking for what will the Raiders offense look like this week? Because you got Josh Jacobs going the last 2 games. Let's incorporate
Passing game.
the passing game now.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm looking for. But this is a classic AFC West matchup. Chiefs and Raiders always go down to the last play.
Yep,
so
it is.
I'm not thinking blowout. But I know the Raiders beat them in Kansas City last year, if I'm not mistaken. So Chiefs might want some revenge from last year's game.
Yeah.
But it's going to be a great game. Like I said, Pat Mahomes is Pat Mahomes. Goes without question.
Yep.
And the reason why the Chiefs are winning games again in this fashion, they're running the ball again. They won the Super Bowl in 2019. They ran the ball. So there's a formula that they have with them running the ball now, and without a Tyreek Hill, and you pick up a Valdez-Scantling, you pick up a Juju, and you still have Kelsey, and you have Hardman there. You have to spread the ball around to make the offense work. So it's not a one-play, 70-yard bomb down the field right now. It's
Like
more
they used
so.
to have
It's
with
more
Tyreek.
though a methodical offense. But when you have a quarterback like Pat Mahomes, it works because
He can
he's a
buy
pro, he's a
time.
proven winner. He can do whatever you can do on the field.
Yep.
And the Chiefs' defense is playing like something halfway decent again. So that also
a plus.
goes into play. That's
Yeah,
a
no,
plus.
I agree. It's going to come down to the last play. Most Monday night games do. You know what I mean? So I'm looking for it to be a good game. I do want to see Derek Carr playing better than he has. Devontae Adams hasn't been too well either. That's definitely a tandem that we was looking forward to in the preseason, and to see that it started this way, a little upsetting for us and their fans. But it's going to click. It's going to click. Don't know when, don't know how. I hope it's tonight. I might watch it if it's tonight. But it's going to click. It's going to click.
Again, give them a little bit of time. Again, through 4 weeks for the Raiders, just starting to get together. Derek Carr, an 83 quarterback rating to this point here in the season. That's going to go up, you would think, especially with the weapons he's got. Hunter Renfrow finally back tonight for the Raiders after missing the last couple weeks due to concussion symptoms. So they'll have him, they'll have Waller, Jacobs, Adams, they'll have the whole crew here tonight. And again, the AFC West was the division coming into this year in the NFL. Was, this is the best division by far. Who's going to win this division? You could have all 4 teams make the playoffs. Well, again, those teams, the Broncos don't look as good as necessarily as we thought. That's so true. Watching Russell Wilson last Thursday, it hurt a little bit. That was brutal.
No, definitely. Russell's somebody I used to watch.
Yeah,
man.
I don't think it's his fault though.
It's a partially torn lat that just comes out of, coincidentally now.
I would say no. Again, briefly speaking on the Broncos, nowhere pretty much at time, but like I said a few weeks ago, when you have a first-year head coach and your whole coaching staff was also at their first year at their own positions on the team as well, you have a first-year coordinator on offense, first-year coordinator on defense, first-year special teams coordinator. Nobody has really in-game experience at their positions on professional level where they actually have proven themselves. That's why they hired Jerry Rossberg as the special assistant. So you're seeing coaching blunders, not just in game, but you can go back to as far as training camp, and certain things are just not there. So we don't have a time to practice with each other. Then you had Jerry Judy's legal situation during the summertime. It's a lot of different things that didn't really work out for them. So they've won 2 games by the skin of their teeth. But
to say it the least. There's a lot of freshmen out there.
Yeah.
Fans, give it a second. These are freshmen. And I'm ready, give it a second.
Yeah.
Sophomore, junior year, we'll start talking about letting some guys go. There's a lot of freshmen right now. Let them just make their way, right? A lot of mistakes being made. They're going to learn.
And again, now you got no Javonte Williams going forward, no Garrett Bowles on the offensive line. That's your number 1 running back, your best tackle up front. Now both out for the season. Uphill battle for Denver going forward. Again, now they're going to need Russell Wilson to get healthy as well. So that was our AFC West talk. Let's do a little lightning round here for the Raiders and the Chiefs. I'll get you guys some questions here, and you're going to tell me who's going to have more yards here tonight. You guys ready?
Let's go.
All right, here you go. Jason, we'll start with you first, and you both are going to answer every one. More passing yards, Derek Carr or Pat Mahomes?
Pat Mahomes.
Pat Mahomes, easily.
Give me Pat Mahomes. I'll go with that one as well. More receiving yards, Devontae Adams or Travis Kelce? Esaias, you first here.
Travis Kelce, he gets a lot more targets, I think.
Monday Night Football, I'm going to go Devontae Adams tonight.
That's a tough one, too. I'll go Devontae Adams, maybe on the outside. They'll get him deep ball. Esaias is going to go with Kelce. That's a close one. More rushing yards, Josh Jacobs or Clyde Edwards-Helaire? Jason, we'll start with you.
Who? Josh Jacobs.
I should have done Edwards-Helaire plus McKinnon.
Yeah, plus somebody else. Got to add like 3 players.
You got to add. They spread it around.
All right, Kansas City backfield or Josh Jacobs? There we go. How about that? Everybody in the Kansas City backfield.
I'll go backfield.
I'm still going to say Josh Jacobs.
You know what? Give me the Chiefs backfield. Let's say they switch it up. They're at home today. Let's see the Raiders put the ball in the air here. Maybe they go down early, not going to be able to run the ball as they have been so far this year. Where there'll be a special teams or defensive touchdown tonight. Let's start with you. No? No. All right. And then who scored anytime touchdown? Who's getting in the end zone tonight? If you had to pick one player out of both teams, just one player, who's getting in, Jason?
One player? Ooh. Hardman.
Nicole Hartwell, you're going all right. That's a tough one. I'll give you this one.
Right.
What do you think?
That's like if we're betting on DraftKings, put $10 on that.
Right, put $10 on it.
I'm going Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce
I can
seems
see
to
him
find
getting
it all
in
the time.
for sure. I'm going to go with, and I don't know how still to this day, but Clyde Edwards-Helaire somehow finds the end zone every week.
Yep.
I'm going to go with CEH to get it. And then lastly, who do you think guys are going to win the game? Chiefs or Raiders? Straight up here, who wins tonight?
The Raiders.
You serious?
The Raiders.
Raiders.
Oh,
I'm not taking the Raiders. I'm going.
he's already wearing the Chief red right
I mean,
there.
Chiefs are at home. I'm going Chiefs.
I'm going to go with the Chiefs, too. Dennis, what about you? Chiefs, 3 Chiefs. So Jason going with the Raiders. It should be a good one, though. AFC West divisional game here tonight on Monday Night Football. Now just about 45 minutes away from kickoff. And unfortunately, you can catch that one on Amazon Prime. Here. Or that's Thursday. Tonight we're on ESPN.
Yeah, it's Monday night.
Oh, man. Y'all this
I was
Amazon.
like,
I apologize to
great
everyone.
turn
I apologize to everyone.
No, it's Monday
out
Night
there.
Football,
We're on
ESPN.
ESPN. We got Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, so at least we got
And
that.
we got the Peyton and Eli.
That's right, and the Manning
well.
cast.
Manning cast.
Love them.
Manning cast.
I love them.
I said, we need our
I
own
guess
Monday
I love
Night
them.
Football show. We'll have
The
to
Manning
start doing
cast,
that.
man. Hey.
Yeah, that's going to be
they're
good. But
dope.
Thursday night, don't forget Commanders at the Bears. That one's on Amazon Prime. If you don't have a membership, don't worry about it. You're not going to watch that one anyway.
Pretty much.
But that's going to be a good one, guys. Again, thanks for everyone joining us here tonight on DETV. Again, Esaias Guthrie, thank you so much, man. Really
Thank you guys for
appreciate you for
having me.
joining. We're going
Thank
to
you
have you back on definitely as we propel
For sure.
here into the season. But again, look out for some big announcements from Esaias going forward as we get into late November. So for Nick Alessandrini, Esaias, Jason, and Dennis back in the studio. We will see you on Thursday night with a little NFL recap of today, some high school stuff looking ahead to this weekend, and Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime. We'll see you Thursday night.